La la. Hello peeps and welcome back to Project Hospital, where we have started campaign 1 and it's going okay. We've gone over our staff and made sure that there's nobody truly awful, although there could be. There's some hidden traits kicking about, and we'll sack them if needs be. And we've started to look at walk-ins and dealing with them as they happen. But I've noticed that one of the ambulances has just rushed off, meaning that we've got an emergency coming into trauma shortly, and I thought it'd be nice to find out what goes on with that sort of business. And it's also a nice opportunity for us to make sure that our staff are doing well in this area, because we can see here that they don't have much in the way of wards in the emergency department. At the moment it looks like we've only actually got one free bed as well in the wards, which could be reasonably problematic for the PEEP that is about to come in. So let's speed this up. Let's go faster. Go faster. And wait for this ambulance to come back. Where is it? There it is. So here we go. Rushed in. Oh. So we have Frank Moore here. We should start seeing doctors. Yeah, we've got a nurse running to Frank Moore, but we also need a doctor. Here she comes. She is running to Frank Moore here. I don't know where she was or what she was doing. So now this is interesting. Yeah, no, Judy Allen is our nurse that can be a bit depressed. So she deals with diagnostic and observation. Right, so she might have been in a ward, a trauma centre ward, which is where she was coming from. So she is currently stabilising the patient, which she seems to have done quite well. When these flash, when these pulsate, it means that they're close to collapsing, that this is really, really critical. But she's managed to do a blood transfusion, and she's just managed to suppress what was quickly going to kill him. And now she is available to examine him and find out exactly what the problem is. And she has gone for differential diagnosis before an x-ray, which, when there's only two things here, is my preferred option. So he currently is in the trauma centre hospitalisation, but it looks like we might need to change the department that he'll be on, because this looks fairly bone related. There we go. So he's going to need leg surgery. She's instantly changed the department to the right one that deals with all your bones, which means that he's going to leave trauma hospitalisation. And what's nice here, if we go over this question mark, it says here that this is now finished. It's blue. It means that we have now finished this treatment, and these pulsating orange ones are active. So somebody is going to come along, a nurse that is set to transfer patients should on that department. So let's see, they might come down the lifts. It's probably her. So she's going to be moving a stretcher. So she would have come down from that department. She's set to patient transfers, which means she'll grab stretchers where they're available, and she will then transfer patients around. She's also set to work in surgery when necessary, so she might also assist on the surgery that he's going to need. And she also does patient care, so she'll go around the wards and make sure that the patients that are currently in the wards are okay. So these lifts take forever. It's because it's loading the next the next floor. It takes a while. In my peeping out, I edited it out, but I'm not going to do that here. Well, I might do occasionally, but just to let you know, lifts are really slow in this game. So we saved ourselves an x-ray by working this out. They're still going to x-ray him. We don't need to x-ray him. Take the x-ray off. What we want to do, there we go. There we go. We want all this stuff. Okay, we've not followed him. Oh, look. The lift wasn't that long. I forgot to follow him here. So he is now in bed. they've sent him to the high dependency unit. So it's not as bad as needing to go all the way to intensive care. But he's not in their regular ward either. They do have a normal regular ward. So he's on a high dependency ward. So, you know, they're aware that he's having a rough time of it, and he's got open wounds and exposed bones. Look, he's got dizziness, severe pain, and all that sort of stuff. So we've asked for a whole bunch of things to happen with Frank Moore here. We've scheduled him in for leg surgery. But we've also asked for him to receive some emergency care. So emergency care. Look, we've also asked him to have his leg bandaged. We've asked for emergency care to be done on his open wound. We've asked for some drugs to be given to him for the pain that he is in. We've also done recommendations for his dizziness. The doctor gives the best recommendations to support treatments. And the exposed bone, also the bandage as well. So that's good. He's currently waiting to be transported to treatment. So this nurse, we can see here that he seems to be moving incredibly slow there, didn't he? He's let's look at Paul White here. He's hungry and he's tired. He's very unhappy, isn't he? He needs to deal with his needs, because it's making him quite slow. I wonder what this hidden trait is. So he's a germaphobe, which means that also when he goes to the toilet he takes a long time as well. Plus he is a new parent, which means his levels decrease much faster. So he might become a problem for us. We might need to keep an eye on Paul White here. What we might do is we're going to make him a favourite, and then he'll come down on this bar here so we can come back to him fairly frequently. You can do the same with patients. You can favourite them through this control option here, and then they get added down here as well, and then it'll notify you when stuff happens to a favourite patient you're not currently watching. So Frank Moore is being sent to treatment. For most of these, he's not having his surgery just yet. He's just going to be having his emergency care and this sort of business. And who have we got here? We have Daniel Clark dealing with Frank here, who will probably also be doing his surgery, looking at things, although we don't have a surgical team working at night, which could be a problem. Frank might complain during the night in the ward that he's waiting a long time for his surgery, and that's because I don't think I have a nighttime surgery team. We could put one on, but at the moment I'm not sure it's worth the cost of getting all the staff in when the hospital isn't that busy. It's not that busy at the moment. So he's received his emergency care. They're now going to send him back to his ward. And I'm hoping that they'll give him the drugs and bandages and all that sort of stuff and his recommendations. I'm pretty sure they can do that in the ward rather than taking him to another treatment room. He's currently waiting for the surgical team. It'd be really great if a nurse could deal with this sort of stuff. Patient care nurse. There we go. No, she didn't do it. She was doing patient care, but she didn't do these treatments. Maybe he'll get them after the leg surgery. He is currently waiting for a surgical team, but I think day shift ends at 8 p.m. So the clinic has just closed downstairs, but the daytime staff do keep working till 8 p.m. So we should have a surgical team available, but we should probably check. Yeah, we do. So if you don't know how to check all this, shall we do it? So if we come to, you can see here, this is the surgery for this particular department, operating theatre. So it says here that the minimum staff required, we need a doctor who is a surgeon, we need a doctor who is an assistant, we need an anaesthetist. We need a nurse who also has surgery, and then another nurse just to assist. So that's 5 members of staff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 members of staff to do this operation. So that's a lot of staff to have in, and they all need to be available at the same time to do the operation. So we now need to make sure that we have these doctors. Now, I can see that we do. We have 2 surgeons here. During the day shift this is. At night we can see we have no surgeons, we have no anaesthetists, and but we do have a surgical nurse by the looks of it at night time, but because we're missing these, you know, surgery's not going to happen at night, but we can see that we have plenty of staff in during the day to deal with this stuff. If you wanted to be more specific, we could be. So where's our on-call room? It's here. So we have an on-call room, and this is the on-call room and the nurses room. So the nurses station and the on-call room deal with everybody in hospitalisation. They don't deal with whatever's going on in the clinic part of the department. So we know that they're going to be coming from here. So let's look at the doctors that we have available from here. So we've got our surgeon, we have an anaesthetist, yeah, I think I'm just going to say it wrong from now on. And we can see here that he can assist at surgery, so that's turned on. It's important that they will also assist at surgery, and that they will do the anaesthetology thing. Switched on. They do diagnosis, so they can assist at surgery. So that's fantastic. So we now know that we have all the doctors available, somebody to assist, somebody to do the surgery, somebody to be an anaesthetologist. So we're happy that we've got them. And then we have one spare to boot, who is also a surgeon. So that's really, really fantastic. And then out of the nurses, we can see here that we've got a medical surgery nurse who is set to assist in surgery. And in fact, we've got 2 of them, look. And then we also have a nurse that can also just be present at the surgery, which is necessary. So we know that we have everybody that we need for this particular operation. So he's waiting for the surgical team, but at least we know that surgical team, we don't want those examinations, but at least we know that the surgical team exist and that waiting for them isn't futile in any way. We can see here this is a ward patient that's fulfilling his needs. He's able to walk, apparently, so he's able to fulfill his needs, and what he's going to do is go to the toilet, I think, by the looks of it, and he can go to vending machines to get something to eat. He can go to one of these water bottle things so that he can have a drink. So they can attend to their own needs if they're able to walk. But Frank here is waiting for surgery. And we know that things are going to close down soon. The daytime surgical team are going to go home in an hour. So he's now waiting to be transported to surgery, suggesting that they are transported to treatment, are getting ready to do his surgery. Here they come. Or did they just wash their hands? No, they are coming to do his surgery. Well done, Frank. Here's Frank here. So we are going to get his surgery done pretty quickly, to be honest. We can see here that it is now active. And then once they've done his surgery, they will go home for the night. So they're going to have a bit of a late one this evening. So here they are. They're getting ready to do the... Oh. Sorry. To do the surgery. This was just our room workload. So there was no rooms that were critical. They will get critical. Don't you worry. And so they do their operation. And Frank should be fine. They do seem to be doing it on his leg as well, which is nice. It's kind of a nice detail. He's pretty uncomfortable though, because they've still not given him these treatments that I want them to. Blood everywhere. And there he is. His surgery is done. So he is now treated, and he will be sent back to his ward. Hopefully he will finally get these treatments to help deal with all the pain and stuff that he is in. That would be really, really nice. And janitor should come in and clean up the blood. There we go. That's great. So there we go. He's come here. They're giving him his bandages and some other medicines. No, that's all that he got. So he's now dealing with the nighttime staff. There's been a staff changeover. There we go. He's getting all of his drugs. So we can see that these all are suppressed. They go from red to black. His comfort should start to go up, although he really needs the toilet. He does really, really need the toilet. But it looks like that Frank here is going to be absolutely fine. And look what we did. We got another objective for insurance company. Reached 75% prestige at the end of the day. And we got 25,000 doubloons for that. And you're probably wondering, well, why aren't you paying back this loan? And that's because of this objective. Open General Surgery Department Clinic. This is going to be seriously expensive. We're probably going to have to borrow more money from the bank to do it, and we're probably going to have to add another floor to this hospital as well to fit it all in, because this isn't going to be enough space for the growing hospital. So that's why I'm not paying it back at the moment, because we're going to be spending that and more, but it will be worth doing. To be honest though, you could probably run the hospital from this point on and slowly pay off the loan without doing anything else to your hospital, but it would be very slow and it would be extremely boring. General surgery, which is this department here, which we will build, and we'll probably start building that in the next episode, is a real money maker. It earns a lot of money. With this particular, what we've got going on here at the moment, we're not really making money. You can see here, the hospital's losing money at the moment. The only reason that we have these big totals is because we're getting the big grants in from the government. That's the only reason. So, but the hospital is actually losing money. General surgery is a huge money maker. So it's worth the investment, really, and it just makes the level a bit more interesting. So we're going to do it, and we're going to learn about a new department, and we can build that as we go. It'll be great. Frank Moore here is fine. Now, something I like to do at nighttime shift in my hospital is I like to see all the patients that are currently in the hospital that are in wards. Apparently there's nobody in these wards at all. Right, so trauma centre wards are empty. That's fantastic. Don't think there's anybody in ICU either, to be honest. No, that's currently empty. But we do have patients in the orthopaedic wards. So let's check them over. Now this, you get a lot more, obviously, as things progress. And general surgery will have hospitalisation as well. But what you'll find is, because things will get really, really busy, ward space, having free beds becomes a real headache. So again, I tend to micromanage things so that I can get patients out of beds faster, but also I'm quite good at fiddling with which wards they're on. I mess around with the ward system, and you'll see me throwing patients into different wards just so I can get this patient in there and get that patient done in here. I will send people to the intensive care unit even though they don't need to be there, but the intensive care unit tends to have not a lot of action going on, and there's just beds sitting there, you know. So sometimes in a pinch I might send somebody there to get it done. You could just send somebody home out of the wood, like, you know, you're good, you just go away. I'd rather not do that, but it's a possibility. So Jane Harris here, let's move this down and let's go and find Jane, shall we? Oh, look, cool, look, she's actually got a room all to herself. How lucky. So she's got some sort of hip problem. I'm not going to be reading that. She needs hip replacement surgery, which she's actually had done. It's in blue, so we know that means finished. So that's great. What we're going to do, though, is just try and make her a little bit more comfortable by giving her the last couple of treatments, a bit of exercise, because she's got stiffness in the hips as well, so we're going to give her EMS. What is EMS? EMS, electrical muscle stimulation, is a procedure used in various injuries or diseases that affect the musculoskeletal system. I remember once I had into my muscles at the back of my neck. I couldn't lift my head up. My neck had completely seized up. I'm a bit of a sloucher, and I was paying the price. And they put in, it's a bit like acupuncture, so they put the needles in, but they were electrified. So they were putting very gentle electric current through the muscles via lots of needles in my neck, and I tell you, it was the most amazing thing. When I had that thing going, I could feel the muscles relax. I could move my head all over the place. It was amazing. I didn't want them to take them out, but they just did it to clarify that there was nothing severely wrong with my neck muscles. Then they took them all out again, and I seized up, and I couldn't lift my head again, and it was extremely painful and unpleasant. But they did it just to see if there was anything more significantly wrong. And I really didn't want them to take it all out. It was so good. It was just so good. It absolutely did help. So I can imagine this being pretty marvellous as well in this situation. So she's now getting that treatment, which should help boost her satisfaction levels. She's having a rough night. That's probably because we keep waking her up to do these sorts of procedures. She's also bored. Not entirely sure how to deal with the boredom. I mean, in their room, they do have a stereo. We don't have a television or anything, but it is also night time. In fact, she's got one to herself. She's got a television there. I don't know why she's bored. Does not speak the native language, so she's slow at communication about what's wrong with her, and resting is much faster because she's a gamer. That's fantastic. Anyway, so we've looked at Jane Harris. She's fine, right? So we have Jessica Baker here, who has problems with her hand. And she's had all of her treatment. Currently active, we have an ice wrap, some drugs as well, which I think is dealing with her fever. It is. So she's just recovering. So she might actually be released in the morning, and she'll give us all of her hard-earned doubloons, because hospitalisation is quite a good moneymaker, actually. And as of yet, we've not had, because we've just started day 2. So hospitalisation could make this hospital profitable moving forward. It's only a little bit, but still, every little helps, right? So anyway, we still don't actually have a diagnosis here for Jennifer Davis, and it seems to me that we've exhausted all of our examinations. So she's just going to sit here doing nothing. So they do have different treatments as well. We don't have an MRI machine. Now, we could get an MRI machine. Did we not x-ray her? We didn't seem to x-ray her. Why can't we x-ray her? I wonder... Because, something worth looking at. I was thinking, why can't we x-ray her? Because we have a dependency tree. Okay. We have the clinic, which we have in this hospital, and we're going to be building this general one here as well, right? General surgery, and we've got the clinic, emergency clinic, and these two have a dependency on this unit here, but we'll notice that orthopedy doesn't. Is that even how you say that word? I don't know. But that's where the MRI machine would be if I built one. And yet we have x-ray rooms, and they won't send her for an x-ray. Can they not x-ray her arm? Or maybe it's just not relevant for her illness. That's a little bit curious. What we could do is maybe... Well, you can't send it because it's hospitalised. If we did that... no. It really won't let me. That's interesting. So this we can't x-ray for. Now, an MRI machine is intensely expensive. So if we go to radiation, now I don't want to build one from scratch, although it probably would be cheaper to do that. I'm more inclined to actually use their prefabs. So if we go to prefabs, you can see here we're on radiation, and an MRI room is 60,000. So that's every penny that we have to our name to build this room. Yeah. But it would get us a treatment for her, and we might be able to then use this room for other things as well. And then we have to staff it also, you know. And we've got an entire department to build. But I think I am going to do this. So I think we're going to plop this here. Now, we also need a member of staff to run it. Now, we can employ a member of staff, but I'm aware that at the moment we've got 2 x-ray rooms, and during the day we've got 2 x-ray staff, and it's not, I don't think it's really needed. Mind you, the workload on this x-ray room was high in the day, and it was low on this one. So if we took him away, chances are it could become critical. Although he's got no workload here at night time in x-ray. But he might get workload. But for now, maybe we could bring him to here, Frank Garcia, and we'll put him on. Actually, we'll leave him at night time right now, just so that we can get Jennifer Davis in for it. And then we might put him today. So there we are. We saved ourselves a little bit of money on staff. So that's where that 60 grand ended up going. And it's a little bit messy. This wall here, I'd like to paint that. So what we're going to do is, we can see they've used the grey and they've used the double stripe.
Double stripe!
Is it? Yeah. Excellent. It's weird that they've used orange lines, though, I feel, around here. I find that a little bit weird. But there we are. So we've identified a problem by just paying our patients a bit of due diligence in the night time. We've come across this problem and we've resolved it. Because she can now go for her MRI scan, which will definitely tell us which one is wrong. So she's currently waiting for her examination, so she should be fine. We'll come back to her in a moment. So this guy is currently sleeping. Oh look, it's Frank Moore. So now he is in recovery. Chances are he will be released in the morning. That'll be great. Well done, Frank. And then who have we got here? William Harris. Again, we didn't know what was wrong with him, so he's suffering from the same problem. We're not able to get him out of our ward because we can't diagnose him. So he's just going to stay there until he probably gets so angry he leaves, and that's not good either. I mean, we could just send him home if we didn't want to build the MRI machine, but I think that it's worth doing because we're probably going to have a few patients needing this. So probably a good idea to build it. So they are both now going to go. Oh, look, and Jennifer it's now going to happen. Here comes somebody to take Jennifer to her MRI scan. We would like to see that happen. Let's see it happen. And we will look at we'll build the odd room from scratch, but it's not something I'll do too often. We might do it more when we do the big sandbox hospital. So here we are. She is now getting her scan. He is going to run the machine. He'll then look at her bits and bobs here that comes up on these screens and give her a diagnosis, which would be fantastic. There we go. I mean, we've got a bit of a brain scan here. We're looking at her elbow. But sure, okay. Very expensive piece of equipment that we built for Jennifer here. 60,000, Jennifer. Don't sweat it. 60,000 just for you. So not just for you. Lots of people will use this machine. There we go. So it's tennis elbow. So now we know what we need to do. It's this here. Proliferation therapy, injection-based therapy for chronic musculoskeletal conditions that make the specific cells grow and proliferate more rapidly. Is that similar to that injection that you can get for arthritis? Whatever. It sounds extremely painful. Injections into sort of the bone. Oh God. Oh, Jennifer. Oh jeez. I like the way that he's just got up, left to go and fulfill his needs, leaving her just on this table here. But here comes the nurse to take her back to her room. So she can now She goes straight to sleep. She's absolutely exhausted. So she can now get her treatment, and it will be exactly the same. So we don't need to worry about her anymore, and it will be exactly the same for him. He will be next. They will take him to the MRI machine. We'll find out exactly what his illness is, and we'll give him his treatment as well. And then I'm going to set that MRI doctor to daytime staff. So he's going to work the night shift, and then he's going to work the day shift. He's going to be a very angry doctor indeed. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, please hit that like button. As long as you are here, why not take your first step on the path to total coolness by supporting me via Patreon. The cooler you are, the harder I work, which means even more SHIZWAH.